This is Shawn Michaels, former WWE Superstars, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.
Hey, this is D-Lon from Team 3D, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com. Testify.
All right, we are back. Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I'm the Internet Icon, Jackie Jones, along with my right-hand man.
1-inch biceps, the all-knowing 1-inch biceps. How about that?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah.
Joining us right off the bat here, Incher. There's been a lot of talk about this promotion right on our message board all over the internet. We've got Jack and Gabriel Barron, the co-owners of Resistance Pro Wrestling. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good.
Doing good.
No, there's been a lot of talk all over the internet, on our message board. All our fans are really excited about the roster you guys put together. You know, and of course, you have to say a lot of the talk is because Billy Corgan is also one of the owners, or what exactly is his role with the promotion?
It'd probably be easiest to describe. Me and Gabe are co-owners of the company. We're brothers, obviously. Came from another promotion in Chicago here. Hit it off with Billy. Just realized, how smart and into the business he was, and kind of forged this partnership friendship. And now we've taken it to the next level. And we got together one day and said, "Hey, what happened if we started one from scratch?" And instead of coming into a different company like we had done before and dealing with other people's, issues or problems or creative differences, this could just be one partnership together, and that's what it has been. So Billy's in charge of creative storylines. He's very involved with roster acquisitions and everything like that. So it's definitely exciting times for us. What do you guys think, Gabe?
Oh, absolutely, man. It's just been, a steamroller effect, man. It just keeps going and going, and people are just very, very receptive to it, not just people, fan-wise, but also, just people in the industry. We've been reached out to, from all over the world, guys who are in the business and girls, too, and it's just been really exciting. It's nice to know that people are as fired up, as enthusiastic about it as we are.
Mm-hmm. And we'll let everybody know we have the link right on the website. The website's resistancepro.com. And if you guys want to call in and ask a question, it's 508-644-8503. And I think a lot of people know it. Billy's been a longtime wrestling fan, and you said he's going to be on the creative side. So he's going to be like the booker or writing storylines, that kind of stuff.
Right, correct. That's what he'd be doing. He doesn't really want to be on camera. And it's not needed, his brain's what's needed, and he has plenty to offer there. Literally as we sat down and went through this stage by stage, he's been about as hands-on as it gets. I mean, I probably talk to him, 7-8 times a day. And this is in the midst of him recording an album and getting ready for a tour. And he's just a busy guy, but he loves wrestling so much, and he loves this business as much as we do, that he is just about as hands-on as it gets. So, yeah, from a creative standpoint, I hate to say it, we just kind of said, hey, this is your baby as much as it is ours, so, go with it. So he's doing a great job. A lot of the plans he has, I know Gabe's as excited as I am, but it's so unique and so different, the storylines and angles, and, it's a nonstop vision with him. He's a perfectionist, so it's going to be right.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you say would make Resistance Pro different from the other promotions out there? What kind of style is it going to be?
That's a good question.
No, it's a mix of everything. I mean, you look at our roster. I mean, you got guys who are known to be high flyers. You got guys who are technical masters. You got, with Necro Butcher, you throw that that hardcore element in there. With the ladies, I mean, these are not just straight up technical, wrestlers. Are also, they can brawl, they can do anything, and that's the fun part of it. We always go back to using ECW as a drawing board, just simply in the fact that it's like when you watched ECW, you saw technical matches, you saw high flying, you saw lucha, you saw pull apart brawls, you saw a little bit of everything, and that's why it endeared itself to so many people. And that's the same thing we want to do. We think that that's missing from most of the major companies. When you look at WWE or TNA or even Ring of Honor, it's everybody kind of has their own thing, and they just do that, and they do it well, obviously, being as big businesses as they are. But for us, you want to try to lure people in who they might be hardcore technical, fans, but then they see somebody else that they might not have thought of it, and and show them in a different light, and all of a sudden then they're interested in that kind of style of wrestling and just kind of spread the love around to everybody.
Mm-hmm. I always think that's the best promotions have been when it's a mix of things. Is you don't want to just see all one style or something else. Like when Nitro was at its best, I think it was all the different styles. When ECW's at the best, a lot of people think it's just hardcore stuff, but you mix of all different things going on.
Well, I think there's so many different kinds of fans to appease, and I think that's where so many companies kind of drop the ball. They have the talent as far as roster-wise and guys that can do it, but I think it just takes away. And I think in right now, wrestling and like everything, music and film and it's a roller coaster. It's got its ups and downs. And, right now I think we're ready to hit that upswing, and we're just at the cusp of where it's starting to take off again. And I think bringing back what we all fell in love with, and I mean, that's all of us, fans and, owners and promoters and, wrestlers included, is just to bring back something unique and something different to everybody. And that's giving them their hard-earned dollars worth. And I think right now that's just what's kind of lacking is, you spend money on a pay-per-view and you're going, we don't want to do that. We want to give you your best bang for the buck, and that's what we plan on doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speak of pay-per-view, like besides the live shows, how will people be able to watch the show?
We're looking at right now doing DVD releases. Again, going back to that ECW business model and the fact that 15 years ago, let's say technology wasn't ready for, streaming live pay-per-views on the internet or, getting on regular pay-per-view on cable was very difficult, and it took them several years to do that as well. We're looking at, using that business model as far as, like, if people really want to see it, they'll seek it out and they'll get to see it. But that being said, too, we're looking at other things for down the road as well that, possibly on iTunes, and, everything's going to be in HD. We do know that, which is going to be really exciting. It's not going to be filmed the way that folks are used to seeing a wrestling product. It's going to be looked at more as a combination of a rock video and a movie, and I mean it's going to have a really distinct, unique feel. It's not going to look like standard indie wrestling at all. So when people do see it, when they do check it out, it's going to be something that they're really excited by.
Mm-hmm. You guys talked about ECW stuff. A lot of one of the things that really stuck out in ECW is the use of music. You guys going to be using a lot of music on the show?
Oh, absolutely. look who we have with us.
Right.
Like I said, it's one of those things that we all talk about, obviously, and as fans, and like I said, now with all of us sitting around here, I guess plotting is how important that was, how a great feel that is. It's like going to a concert. It's still, you get, when you go see Kiss, you know the music that's going to be played while the stage change is going on. And that's half the fun, half the anticipation. And it's the same thing that goes for wrestling. The entrances are so important. The pre-show is so important, for the fans filling up. I mean, you want to be excited when you go there. I've been around enough indie wrestling, and so is Gabe, and so is Billy, to know that's a lot of people don't put that same effort in. I think they just run it as, I hate to say it, they look at it as, hey, we're indie wrestling, so we don't have to do this. And it's not knocking anybody, but it's thinking, I guess, maybe just going above and beyond what is, I guess, spoon-fed to you or force-fed to you, and saying, we want to give you this awesome feel. When you leave, I want you to feel that high, that excitement, that where you're going home and you can't sleep because you're thinking about what just happened, when you left the building. And it's really what we're trying to capture is just make everybody feel like wrestling's given us amazing, that where you would watch an event and you'd be like, wow. You talk about it nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Now, here in the chat room, the blue guy, he says your first show November 25th at the legendary Excalibur nightclub in Chicago. He wants to know, why did you pick a 21 and older bar for your first event?
I'll be honest with you. The reason we went with Excalibur is because of the uniqueness of the building. I don't know if anyone's really familiar with it. It's a 4-story room where we're in. So it's kind of going to look like Thunderdome in there. That's how I keep describing it. It's just unique. It's an old building, looks like an old castle in the heart of the city. 21 and over, unfortunately that does limit a fan base for the first show. But at the same time, you're getting such a unique experience just to be in there and be a part of that unique attraction. And that's the thing. You got to run different buildings. I'm not doing VFW halls. I think that's one thing that I think everybody gets sick of. I don't know how many times you see great matches and in the background there's a basketball hoop. And to me, that kind of takes away and distracts from it. It's one of those things where you want to be a part of. You're going to say, hey, I got to be there. And if you're not 21 yet, and you're planning excited for when you do turn 21, not for the usual reasons of being able to go out and have a couple beers, but just to say, hey, I can go and see that. Hopefully, down the road, we're working on other venues right now. Will be all ages show, but the first one, unfortunately, that's the price to pay to be at Excalibur, but a very unique environment. It's going to look really, really cool too.
Do you have anything to add, Gabriel?
No, I mean, everything Jack said is very true. I mean, the thing about wrestling that's so important that, that has lost some of its luster over the last few years, especially with indie companies, is that basically you can take any indie company's, home video releases and look at them, and they all look relatively similar. Where something that we're looking at doing is, Jack always said it looks like a combination of a rock concert and a prison riot, and it's like, and that's what we want this to look at. Like, Excalibur is such a unique venue that, it looks like Thunderdome when you walk into it with, 4 different stories of balcony surrounding the ring, and it's really just going to be an amazing thing. So when people do see it, if they're not 21 or if they're, they're unable to come to the show and they do see it on video, they're like, my God, I got to go to this, so they get even more excited for it, because the venue is such an important background character to the show that, some folks don't realize, but that was something that's always been very important to us. So we knew that for the first show, we had to really make that impact.
Yeah. You guys need like a Blaster Master character.
Well, if you got anyone you can recommend,
we'll have to come up with somebody,
With like a midget on the back?
Yeah. That'd be awesome. It's like the Thunderdome. We got the Blaster Master.
Yeah. Bring in who was the midget there in was in the trash can in TNA? That guy's got a good
Puppet, the Psycho
Puppet.
George.
Yeah. That guy's got
Give him a recommendation, Jack.
Yeah, I definitely recommend Puppet the Psycho Dwarf.
We'll put him on the list.
He is a good promo guy. So.
Tazo the Greek from our message board, he wants to know, are you guys working on a TV deal?
Right now, we are not. It's something that we've obviously talked about, thought about. It's just right now the biggest importance is knocking down a roster, finalizing that, and taking it, step by step. It's easy to say, hey, go out there. Are you going to have TV? Are you going to have this? Are you going to have that? We want to do it right. We want to build it properly. And then, when we think we're ready for TV, I think that would be the step that we would take at that point. But until we feel, we got it 100%, because, running a first show, you anticipate bugs and kinks, and, you want it to run perfectly, but until it's actually up and running, from scratch is a little bit difficult. So we want to put out the best product possible. So I think once we get to that point, we feel that as a group we're ready to go to that level, then we'll take it to that next level. But currently right now, no, there is no TV.
Now, another name that's been out there, I know he's on your roster page, is Raven, and some people online have said he's also going to be part of creative. Is he going to be just on-air talent, or is he also part of the creative?
Raven's definitely involved with creative. I think Billy said it best. He goes, I think the best day will be when I tell Raven, something I want to do, and he says it's stupid. He's a smart guy, real smart guy, great guy. He's going to be an agent for us, so he's going to be working backstage with the boys and putting the matches together. Will he be on, an in-ring talent as needed, I guess? But, right now the most important thing for us, and I think for the talent, is to have him back there. He's got so much knowledge. It's amazing to listen to him critique a match. It really is. It's such a cool experience to have been around, and now I guess to be around it all the time will be even better for us. But I know Gabe was, super excited when we had brought this up, just to have him there. I think that's gotten one of the bigger responses, was having him involved in a backstage capacity.
Yeah, what do you want to add to that, Gabriel?
No, exactly what Jack said is that, Raven is, people kind of consider him an encyclopedia of wrestling. He's worked everywhere. He's worked all the big promotions, and held titles everywhere he's been. There's a reason for that. It's not just because of his popularity and then, that he was an enduring character. It's also because he is an extraordinarily smart man. I mean, he's a legitimate genius, all around. So, I mean, that's something that's very exciting. And, just watching the boys and the girls that we have thus far and their responses to it, I mean, they're excited to work with him. I mean, Billy, I understand what I think of it. That's kind of a wild card because he hasn't done this. But we know he's not. But Raven, I mean, that just, if anybody had any questions, they have no doubt in their mind once Raven's in there.
Mm-hmm. And he's a wrestling guy, so if Billy might have something that's a little out there, he could maybe Raven could help him translate that to work into the wrestling product.
Oh, absolutely. That's an awesome thing to have there. It's nice to be able to sit down and you got, I hate to say it, great minds from different fields with the same passion and just bouncing ideas off each other. And I'm telling you, it's exciting. It really is. I feel like, I hate to say it, I feel like a kid again watching it, being a fan and back in the day and calling up for, the old dirt sheets where you had to call in the hotlines to hear what was going on. I mean, it's just that excitement level all over again, which is cool. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm an owner. So a little bit different.
Yeah. 1-900-909-9900. Mean Machine Hotline.
At 25 cents a first minute, $12 after that.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Here in the chat room, Dan Balter wants to know if there's any roster additions coming up.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. A lot. I would love, guys, to be able to tell you a lot more on that. Unfortunately, we're doing it nice and slow.
Yeah.
We've been doing, one a week. It has been, let me tell you, the names still to come are going to blow your mind. It's been the outpour. Gabe, how about it? I think our email's been blowing up and text and phone calls from names that I never would have considered at that point just because I thought they were, hard to get. And I'm talking calls from Japan, from Mexico, from Canada, all over, and the outpour has been great. So much talent out there, guys. So much, and it's a shame when, you have limited time. You can't have a 40-match night.
Right.
But there's just so much talent out there, and, there's so many people we want to work with, and then the ones that we nailed down for the roster so far have just been, I hate to say it, it's like Christmas right now. I want to open these presents and show you guys what I got, but just can't.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Joel Gertner. You going to let him work in some dirty one-liners?
Of course, it's his brother Gertner.
Well.
He's a good friend of mine and Gabe's, and great guy. Such a talent. I think, once again, that's one of those misused talents. Gabe, I'm sure you'll agree with me on that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was the saddest thing was, back in the day when the Dudleys went to WWE and, there was no Joel Gertner. That was, kind of like the missing element of it. And, getting to know Joel and see what he can do even without being part of that act is just amazing. I mean, he's just a fantastic guy. Again, very, very smart guy, very funny. I mean, he's just going to be a huge, huge asset to us. And I think a lot of folks are going to tune in just to see what Joel has to bring to the table, which everyone knows is a lot.
Mm-hmm. I was just talking to him a couple days ago online here, and he'll be on the show pretty soon. If he can work it out in his schedule, because I think he's busy on Wednesdays, but he says he wants to come on and actually talk about Resistance Pro Wrestling, so I'm looking forward to that.
No, he's a great guy, and I think, like I said, having him on commentary, wow. I mean, you get Gertner for, 3 hours. It's fantastic.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and he, of course, people like Andrew brought up the poems. Everyone remembers them, but he also did a good job on the commentary when he was in ECW.
Oh yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he added a lot to it for sure. I mean, not that Joey Styles ever needed anybody, but having Joel in there was, brought it to a whole other level, which we know he's going to do for us as well. So we're very excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's a name everyone who was around at that time. Misses. You don't hear a lot from them. It's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's a shame, but like I said, what we try to do is bring in the talent, stars from the past that have so much to contribute still, and maybe just in a different light than what they were being used or always considered being used. And like I said, Raven backstage, Joel on commentary. I mean, this is so much different and exciting elements that you can add while still, helping the young talent get themselves over and get ready for their careers, and making them careers. That's our biggest goal when we started this company, was to have these guys ready so they can get to, WWE or TNA or Ring of Honor quicker, more prepared, and once again, a safer environment too. That's very important to us.
Yeah, I saw on your site there was a interview with Billy Corgan. He talked about the concussions in wrestling and taking care of the guys. If they're hurt, not having them be afraid to take time off. Is that something you guys really take serious?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. It's one of those things. Back in the day, you get injured and guys were afraid to say anything because they'd lose their spot. If somebody's injured, I don't want them working. None of us do. And as fans, you don't want them working injured. You want them safe so they have long, healthy careers. So eventually, when they get that opportunity to retire, they can enjoy their families and not be, these broken down poor guys that have given their all to the fans. And when they go home, they're crying. They're in so much pain, to move around and get up. I think just a safe work environment, working properly. And that's where Raven comes in, because let me tell you, that guy's, as many times as he's been injured, he's avoided it a lot because he's worked smart and he's worked safe.
Mm-hmm. And anyone who's and there's a lot of them out there that has seen the different shoot DVDs with Raven knows the guy's got a great mind. And one thing he talks about a lot are the younger guys and how he sees a lot of talent in them, but they don't always know how to really showcase it, or little things they don't do. So I think that's like you guys have been saying, a perfect guy to have on the creative side of your promotion.
Oh yeah, like I said, it was a no-brainer there. It was our first choice, and he's very very fun guy, man. He's a great guy to talk to, just on the phone. Oh. Shooting the poop with, I guess you could call it. I don't want to swear on your show.
Oh, that's all right. You can say anything you want.
Okay, well, shooting the shit with. He's entertaining as hell, just a great guy, and like I said, so much knowledge. And he's one of those people. Gable throw out a name, he'll be like, lot to offer. I think he's just got to be repackaged. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it. Let's repackage him.
Mm-hmm. Another guy I wanted to bring up was Teddy Hart, because he's a guy that I've been a fan of for a long time and never really got his big break, and so I was glad you guys have him working for you.
Oh, Teddy's absolutely amazing. I mean, remember the first time we saw him, a couple of years back, even just on video and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, this guy why is he not under contract? And everybody knows, Teddy has Teddy stories and everything like that, but at the same time, now it's like he's got his act together, he's very clear-headed, and he contacts Jacques pretty much every day just to say, hey, what's going on? He's excited. He's willing to do anything, interviews and promotional stuff and anything like that. And, he's a 31-year-old man. He's still just a kid, and it's going to be really exciting to see him grow and see what, Raven and Billy have in store for him as far as on the creative side. And, the fans have been very, very receptive to him because, like you said, he hasn't had much of a chance to shine over here in the U.S., and now we really want to give him that platform, and we think people are going to be amazed with him because I know we are.
Yeah. Did you have another question from the board?
Yeah, I had a question from Dwayne. He was wondering how the women would be presented in your company.
As athletes.
Oh, okay. You weren't going to go to the crack whore route, huh?
No, I mean, the women that we've announced, so far, the woman that we've announced so far, simply luscious. I mean, she's an absolutely fantastic athlete. Obviously, the only female graduate of Shawn Michaels Texas Wrestling Academy. The other woman that we've spoken to, and there is a long, long list. Because unfortunately, it's still very hard for women to get a good job and be presented in the proper light in the world of wrestling. So that's something that we're all very serious about, Raven, Billy, and Jacques, and myself. The whole thing that we always go back to was an example of like Gina Carano. Here's a woman in MMA who's a beautiful woman, but she's a very talented athlete, and should definitely kick anybody's ass that I know. And the guys do take her seriously. She's not just eye candy, and that's the whole thing that we want to have for our women's division is women that they can be appreciated for being attractive, just like women can appreciate our male athletes for being attractive. But they can also respect them as I wouldn't want to mess with this person.
Right.
So that's important to us.
Do you think that's kind of an untapped market on TV right now? Is for a while on TNA, I think they really used the women well, and been awesome calling versus Gail Kim was main event in one of the shows, but then after that, I kind of went back to the TNA aspect because there are a lot of women wrestling fans out there. Do you think that's something that none of the promotions really get behind very well.
I think that they kill their own momentum. And that would be the best way I could say it. Just as women's wrestling starts to take off, or you see it kind of going in the right direction, they'll put on, an eye candy match, and all of a sudden half the crowd leaves to go get popcorn. And it's not right. They're using them for exactly that, just eye candy and nothing more. I think it's, I hate to say it, I almost feel like it's a throwaway to them. And look at all the talent that's out there. I mean, my God, if anyone, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners and people on the board know about women's wrestling, it is unbelievable. I mean, Gabe took me to a show here in Chicago, to a Shimmer show. And I watched, it seemed like 6 hours of it. And it was amazing. Amazing how some of these girls can go and go and go. I mean, you see some of the guys go in the ring and they're blown up in 5 minutes, and these girls are going out there for a half hour and tearing the house down, where you're on the edge of your seat and standing and just into every second of it. They can tell such a good story, and I think that's another part that gets away in women's, in all wrestling, is a storytelling aspect of it. Instead of just being, I don't like you, women's wrestling, I don't like you because you took my boyfriend, and, you think I'm hot and I don't think you're hot. What the hell is that all about? Mm-hmm. There's more to life than that. I've seen enough, women fight in my life for real, and it's a lot more than that.
Gabriel, did you have anything about the women's wrestling?
We're really, really excited about it. We think that this is like Jack said, people killing their own momentum, when women's wrestling gets hot, and Shimmer does a great job, and they put together a great, if you just like straight technical wrestling, they have a great job with that. We're looking at, using that kind of, as a template, but then springboarding off that with, like Jack said, very in-depth, realistic storylines for these women, not treating them as just, divas or eye candy, or just, the girl the skank girl against the nice girl or anything like that. It's going to have real storylines. It's not going to be WrestleLicious, unfortunately.
I'm sure a lot of people will be disappointed with that.
It was fun, but we're looking at showing the world that these women are athletes, and they could definitely kick a lot of guys' ass. So.
Yeah. Now you got a call on the line. Who are you?
Road Dog from the chat room.
All right, Road Dog, you got a question?
Yes, I just tuned in. Who is officially in the Resistance Pro roster? Who's on the roster?
You want to name the whole roster?
I think Joel Gertner.
That would take forever. No. You got Teddy Hart, Harry Smith, Kevin Steen, Jay Bradley, who, let me tell you, looks amazing right now and ready to go. Simply Luscious, Tony Kozina, Necro Butcher. Who else am I missing? Grant Akuma's, amazing talent.
You guys mentioned Kevin Steen. That's definitely a guy that has a big following, and people really wanted to. I think the main event, Ring of Honor, and I think he's kind of gone from Ring of Honor. So some of you guys want to really get behind on the promotion?
Oh God, yeah. Kevin's probably one of the most talented guys out there right now, and unfortunately doesn't have the physique of a Greek god or anything like that. But he's magic on the microphone. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's somebody who you would have fit in in the original ECW. I think he's just somebody who has so much personality, so much character. Both as a face and as a heel. So it'll be very interesting to see what Billy and Raven have in store for him, because he's just somebody who is limitless potential, and a young guy too. So he's going to be around for a long time, and we want him to be around a long time with us. So we're definitely looking forward to putting him in the best position for him.
Yeah. Anything else, Road Dog?
Will the first show be released on DVD?
Yes, it will definitely be on DVD.
Okay. Thank you, and have a great night. Good luck with the promotion.
Thank you very much for calling.
Thanks for calling in, Road Dog. Thanks, man. Any other questions from the board, Insure?
Yeah, Tazo, he wants to know how many shows do you plan running a year?
Right now, the plan is once a month.
Okay.
Ideally, we'd like to be running, 4 or 5 times a month. But I think to start once a month is perfect for us. It gives us enough time to let me tell you guys, starting from scratch and in record-breaking time, I think is probably one of the most nerve-wracking and exciting things ever. But we want to do it right, like I said. So right now, once a month is the plan. So if anything changes, which hell, it could happen tomorrow. Those plans could change, and we could go, more than that. But right now, I think we've agreed on every month just doing a show.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people talk about online is they don't like the PG style of wrestling, or what kind of audience you guys going for? What kind of rating?
It's just, we're not going to dumb down anything for our fans. We think that's the most important thing. It's not necessarily, is it PG-13 or is it R-rated or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, very realistic, very reality-based. Not to say there won't be some goofy things or fun things once in a while, too. But, if, it necessitates somebody swearing or something in the ring, then they're going to swear. If they don't need to, then they're not going to need to. That's the fun part of it. It doesn't have to be, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into one one genre, let's say, or one rating category. We want to mix it up a little bit. So at a 21-year-old or 21 and over crowd venue like at Excalibur on November 25th, then who knows what can happen, especially with all the booze flowing.
Right.
I think probably the best thing to say what crowd we're going for. It's not a ratings for crowd. We are going for the hardcore fans, and by hardcore I mean the people that truly love the business. That's what we are going to cater to. So it's not about just blood and guts. When blood's red, it needs to be, blood will be there. But let me tell you, it's for the fans. It's something for them to really get behind. It's our gift back to, I guess Gabe put it once, is jaded wrestling fans everywhere. It's just a chance to say, everyone's sick and down on what's going on right now. This is a chance of something to really get behind and be a part of from scratch. And to know that everything we do is because we care, and we're not the promoters that are in it for, a profit, looking, at the end of the night, counting our dollars and screwing the boys. This is about, talent first, fans first, us last. It's about growing the product, and that's all we care about. As the name grows, the talent grows, the roster grows, the venues grow, and everybody benefits from it. But like I said, right now, that's who we're catering to, are the hardcore fans.
Mm-hmm. Was there any more questions, Intro? Any more good ones?
Any more good ones? That's the case.
Yeah, I should always throw that in there.
If they ask what size shoe I wear, that's not a good question.
Yeah, well, I know someone actually asked what kind of music you liked, and I didn't think that was the greatest of all questions.
I like all of it. I like that girl on a first date. I like everything.
Yeah, it's always good.
That's a good conversation starter.
So I know on your site, they have a place where people can send in, like, if you're a wrestler or anything in the business you want to get a tryout or whatever. Like, is that how most of the guys have been picked, or was it like a list of guys you guys wanted to go after? Like, how did you come about the roster?
We sat down. I know me, Gabe, and Billy sat down one night and kind of set our sights on, a select few of who we wanted to actually have on the roster as a pretty much a permanent basis. And then you always got to have, I don't know if you're a baseball fan. Kenny Williams here in Chicago is, the GM for the White Sox, and he says, well, I always have plan A, then I have plan AA and AB and AC and all the way down. So that's really what we kind of mapped out. And then to actually have your A roster, it's like, holy crap. How the hell did that happen? Usually it doesn't happen like that. We've been promoting for a little bit here, and it's not easy. But to have, we as fans know who the best out there is. We know what best, in our eyes, what the best musicians are, and the best movies are, and best actors, and best athletes. And same thing with us. We know the best workers and the most potential, and who I think are grossly or misused or underused or never used. And we want to bring them back to the forefront and, get the eyes on it from WWE and say, hey, look at these guys. They deserve to be with you. It's not a height thing. It's not a weight thing. It's not a look thing. It's a talent thing. And that's what we plan on showcasing is their talent.
Yeah. Actually, when you say that, there's a lot of guys that came from ECW, went to WWE, that I think if ECW wasn't so popular, probably would never even get a look from WWE, like the Dudley Boys. Is that one of your things you want to use guys that, like you said, just don't fit the WWE mold?
Yeah, not exclusively that.
Right.
I would say just guys that you can see, like a Kevin Steen, a perfect example. I mean, this guy is unbelievable, but I think he's overlooked all the time because he doesn't have that prototypical, 6'6" Adonis build. Not Adrian Adonis, because that would not be good, but you know what I mean. He just doesn't fit that mold, but this guy is so captivating, so entertaining. He has that aura about him. He's one of those guys that just you're drawn to immediately if you know anything about entertainment or wrestling. You just say, "Wow, look at him! He's amazing." That's one of those people that that was one of our first sites that we had. As far as everything else, it's just who fits, who's going to work with us, who wants to be a part of something that can grow. And to have the names that we already have announced, fantastic. And the rest of the names to come, wow. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah. Well, really looking forward to it. And again, the website is resistancepro.com, and your guys' debut show is Friday, November 25th at the Excalibur nightclub in Chicago. Anything you'd like to tell everybody out there before I let you go?
Check out the website. Check us out on Twitter at resistance_pro. Facebook, just plain old Resistance. You'll see the logo. You can't miss it. $20 Excalibur. You're going to get more than $20 worth of entertainment. We guarantee that. And it's just going to be an amazing show in a totally unique venue the day after Thanksgiving. If you're done dealing with all your relatives, come out and get drunk and enjoy some awesome wrestling.
Same thing, guys. If you want to come out to the show, you're more than welcome. Come see it, because I'm telling you, it's going to be different. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, it's got a pretty good buzz around the internet. I know our fans on our message board were really impressed by the roster you guys have so far.
Well, I want to thank you guys for having us on. It's nice when different people are calling us and wanting to have us on to talk about. I'm glad the buzz is there, because, like I said, it is going to be different. And I know everyone keeps saying, how's it going to be different? How's it going to be different? It's too hard to explain. You have to see it. But it's not going to feel like a typical show. And that's the key. I think the excitement is missing, and that's what we want to bring back. So to you guys, to your listeners, to your board, thank you for the response. I think it's one of those things that back and forth. We know we're going to get negative reaction. We know we're going to get positive reaction. And as long as we're getting reaction, then something must be going on. So. Right.
That's always good. You don't want complete silence.
No.
Yeah.
That's usually bad. That's a TNA show. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, they do have the piped in music, or piped in crowd.
Oh yeah. Well, it's all right. I think Meanie was in town with us a couple weeks ago and showed us a picture of a TNA house show. He said people thought it was Halloween early. They went as disguised as chairs.
I know Mick Foley got in trouble when he was there, and he tweeted about the empty arena match, aka the TNA house show.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's just they got so much talent there. They've got so much talent. It's just fixing and tweaking stuff. But once again, we here's another thing too. Everyone's like, oh, do you guys want to put these companies out of business? Or no. God, we're not stupid. We're not going to compete with Vince. We're not Vince. We're not Dixie. We're not, we want every company to succeed, because I hate to say it, more wrestling is more for the fans. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to see as much as possible. I loved it. I loved when WCW and WWE and ECW were going at it, and you were flipping back and forth, and it seemed like every day there was wrestling. It was heaven. For me, that was the best thing in the world. And I know for Gabe, what the hell? I mean, we grew up together. That's all we did was live, eat, shit, and breathe wrestling, and it's going to be that way until our dying breath. So I think, anyone that's probably a question that we've come across already a lot, and we actually got another interview to do here shortly, is, are you guys going after Vince? Or, come on. It's a bit far-fetched, All we're doing is giving people an alternative to what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, guys, for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having us, guys.
Cool.
Hey, this is Sean Oliver from Kayfabe Commentaries, the most innovative shoot-style DVD company in the world, and I implore you to listen to IYH Wrestling.com, the most innovative wrestling podcast on radio.